It's November 14th. Seven 11 Thursday, November 14th. You know, there's this guy, I don't know if anybody's heard of him, a YouTube channel. It's Jonathan Fargo Klecks. You ever hear that guy? He's on YouTube, and he has this channel. It's mainly dedicated to ringing the Lamb's Bell in Philadelphia, PA. 19111, I think the area code might be. It's somewhere around that area. 191-119-191. I don't know. I got to look at it. But he has this channel that's dedicated to taking down the lamb and the bell, ringing his bell, just like, you know, it's like a figure of speech. He doesn't really have a bell per se, but him, the king of the South, he's going to ring the bell. As of last night, I didn't really think about it because I never said that. I never really put it together and looked at. I never looked at the second 9/11 being on November 14th. Then I started thinking about it last night. 2019. Simply because. Now again, there's a 75. There's this number 75 that is appearing everywhere. It even appeared in the dead center of the city of Philadelphia with 3 and then 75 years, 375 years, greater than 3, and that building that happened to get destroyed, that Home Depot building. Remember that building the day before? It got destroyed, and it was building number 75. There's like a 50-mile-per-hour zone to get us to a certain place, and then 10 and 15, so it equals 75. And it's a good thing that if anybody has, if you get your electric bill and it's a 75-hour bill, you must be blessed. And on top of that, if you get a credit with your electric and gas and everything, and something like that, if you get a credit for $322 or $223, either way, in 42 months, you're good. When you have that 75 time frame, well, wait a minute. I think, isn't it from August 31st, which was Klecks shooting over in Texas. And then what was that? So it's August, all of September is 30 days. All of October is, well, it's 61 days. And then going into November, so the 11th would be 72 days. 73, 12, 74, 13, 75. Ah, wait a minute. So depending on where Klecks is getting his, doing his starting point to ringing the bell. Well, today's the 75th day since August 31st, when he got his envelope in the mail. You know the envelope he got in the mail that had 8, it was dated, the stamp, it was dated on August 31st. And it was also $4.35, which was the envelope postage, the weight to pay for it. And they also met up at Home Depot $4.35 prior, during his video showing you, and it just so happened on August 31st, 2019, that a Home Depot reference got shot up, and then they skated off and didn't talk about it anymore. And then 50 days later, exactly from that point on, there was the second Home Depot in Texas again. And this time it was destroyed. Now, because it was building 75, and because it's either one or the other, either Klecks is, there's only two options. When he's giving you these numbers, it's either he's starting the countdown from August 31st, 2019, or September 11th, 2019. Because if he's going from September 11th, I'll just add 11 days from today, and that'll bring you to November 20. Well, evening, morning. November 24th into 25th. That would be 75 days from 9/11. Either one of those, Philadelphia's bell is going to get rung. Okay? It's going to get rung. I guarantee it. So today is the 75th day from the well, actually it's the 75th day anniversary from that horrific shooting that happened to remind you that it was 5 dead and 21 injured over there in Texas. Just to remind you when Klecks rose up, because he was given the authority on May 21st, 2018. That's right, he was given the authority then. And well, he was given 42 months to continue also. It's funny because when you look at the 42 months that he was given to continue, excuse me, who gave him the 42 months to continue? Did God give him the 42 months? Or is that a promise from man? Because you know that promises that come from men, they're always broken promises every time. And don't you know that the way the Bible is written and the way the elite are playing this out, they said to each other, all right, look, here's what we're going to do. We don't believe the Bible, all right? And just so if by some circumstance that God does make himself known and that he is real, okay? If that does happen and the truth does show up, and they kind of expose everything that we're doing, well, you know the part where it says a times and a half that we're going to let Jonathan Klecks rule for you guys, right? Times and a half. Well, our exit plan, our own Exodus plan, is when we know that the Bible is real, like because we're stalking everybody and we can see the real people in the world that are actually, you know, children of God. When we see that, I mean, if we see that, we're just gonna use that. You know what Robin said. We're gonna cut it down to 3.5 days. The time that he's been given to rule, we're just gonna cut it down. We're gonna interpret it as, sorry, Johnny, it meant 3.5 days. It didn't mean 42 months. So ring the damn bell, Jonathan. Ring the frickin' bell. It's 7:21 right now. There's supernatural bell testimony. Okay, Jonathan Klecks is showing us. You see, you got to remember this, and I got to remember this. Sorry. If I never appeared on YouTube, in front of you two, Klecks and Steve, if I never appeared on YouTube, you two would still do these videos. Klecks would still have this bullshit ass story. Remember, I graduated. I'm getting ready to. As soon as that bell has rung, school is out. I've graduated. I'm done. I'm finished with my testimony over in that college. Thaddeus Stevens Conspiracy Theory College of Technology. I've learned how to drive the nails home. at that school. And so naturally, like anything else, when lunch is over, guess what happens? The bell rings. When school's over, obviously the bell rings. When you've graduated from the bullshitology school, the bell rings, you're done, you get your cap, you graduate, you move on to become a professor. Professor Plum, in a study. You're not going to get shot up, because it doesn't happen like that. But however, what happens is you start teaching people all the ways that you found out how to read between the bullshit ass lines. And you find the mastermind, Mr. Mastermind mouthpiece for the elite, Jonathan Klecks. Jonathan Wells Fargo Klecks. Philadelphia. Ringing the bell. Does that ring a bell? Yeah, it does. His references to Jerusalem and Philadelphia. All right? Both places are getting hit. Jerusalem, Israel right now, okay, there's 400 rockets are flying overhead. 400 of Jonathan Fargo Klecks missile images are just floating over. And let's see. The other mouthpiece, Paul Begley, he's still over there until today or tomorrow. And people had dreams that when he goes over there, all hell's going to break loose for some reason. Last year did. So he's playing the Messiah too. Jonathan Fargo Klecks, as he's mentioning Israel. He's in his video 4th of July, where he's mentioning as Michael is telling you about Yoder lumber and the place where it's from. It's called New Philadelphia. And Jonathan Klecks says, does that ring a bell? But first he says, wait a minute, brace yourselves. Remember that part? And then when you brace yourselves, Philadelphia and Jerusalem, because it's New Jerusalem, he's representing both parties. Two witnesses, Israel, Philadelphia. Two wide range witnesses, Jerusalem and America. To narrow it down, Israel and Philadelphia. Two, called by my name, because when you mention the word Philadelphia in the Bible, you're referring to the Church of Philadelphia, which is the body of Christ, which is what Klecks is trying to ring our bell. He's trying to ring the Lamb's bell. Ringing the Lamb's bell means shutting you to hell up and then crushing your city. So he's going to do that. Again, I can't stop it, because who knows when he's going to do it? I don't know. I don't really know. I just take guesses. So my guess would be, how many other dates can there be for a second 9/11? You got Trump showing his letter with the White House right above the time that it's going to get hit with the second 9/11. He's showing you 9:03 and then /9:33. So he's showing you two hits. And he's showing you that it's the White House. And Klecks told us that future bombings are printed on the U.S. currency, prior bombings and future bombings. So when you look at that $20 bill and you fold it in half and you do that little thing, you'll see that both towers are hit with the smoke coming from both towers. If you fold up a 10 or a 5, I believe it only shows one being hit and the other one shows smoke. All the way drop down, and then the 50 and then 100 shows just smoke. So that 20 represents two 9/11s happening. The complete first 9/11, second 9/11. First 9/11, building 1 drop. Building 2 to represent the first and second 9/11. The first one already happened. Building 7 collapsed. Building 8's next. Building 8 comes along with the second 9/11. Now, when the White House gets hit, that's not a building that will fall over. When Klecks told you that 15 minutes prior to the concrete truck coming and wiping out the William Penn building in Philadelphia, 15 minutes prior to that, a building fell over. A tree, I'm sorry. A tree fell over. It decided to fall over, is what it did. 15 minutes beforehand. All right. So 15 minutes before 9:03, well, that's 8:48 a.m. in the morning. So when that building decides to collapse or gets hit at 8:48, or it falls over at 8:48, then you got 15 minutes later until, and you got 45. All right, remember the 45. You have 15 minutes before that. It's like, so how does it get hit? 8:48 is the building. This is what I'm still sticking with. 8:48 is building 8, which is Chase Bank, which is at 17th and JFK Boulevard in Philadelphia, Center City. That building gets hit at 8:48. And then 15 minutes later, the concrete truck comes, and it, because it's wiping out the William Penn building, because Klecks needs to have a straight run through Broad Street. He don't want to go around the circles anymore. He's tired of going in circles. So that gets hit, and then, you know, exactly a half hour later, because it's like a 30-day decree type ordeal, and plus it's 45 total, because it's 1, 2, 3. It's 3 events in a row getting hit back to back to back, and it's 45 minutes, and Trump's the 45th president, and you 450 fake ass prophets out there that are prophesying falsely, like Paul Begley is, like AMTV, like everybody that said that they had these visions and dreams and said these things. And I love how they try to go back to their video and try to prove some shit that David's saying. Like Klecks tried doing it today. It makes whatever you're trying to prove, Klecks, you can't. There's no proof. You got these two people coming on your phone interviewing them about this bell. How good does that do? Wait, we don't know these people. You act like it's such confirmation that you got your employees to get on the phone and be like, yeah, I'm Jack Lamb, and I'm Jill Lamb, and we both, Jack and Jill, went up the hill, and each with $1.25, and then Jill came down with $2.50. I know. So I would say that the White House, when that gets hit, it's not going to fall over because it's not even tall enough. It's just, wait a minute, is that a 3-story building? I don't know if it is or not. It might be a 3-story building, and it has the cup on the top, you know, like the bowl, like the Vatican. It has like the Vatican roof, and it has the arch, and the Center City building, William Penn, has, I think that's like 3 stories at the top there, and then it has like this arch thing here, and it so 9:33, 9:03, and 8:58. Absolutely, there's going to be these events that happen at that time. The times can't be changed. They can't change it. Once you know it, there's no changing it. Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Israel, and Rome, the Vatican. Right? Isn't that over in Rome, or is it in London? I don't know. It's over there somewhere. They all get hit. That's like the 4 main targets. I mean, 2 of them are, well, 2 of them. See, I think there's 3 of them. 3 of them in Philly. There's 3 in a row. I'm not sure if the church is considered one because it's already burnt down. because it does represent that the Church of Philadelphia is going to get burned to the ground. So that did already happen on August 27th. But I feel like there's 3 in a row, like where we're waiting and we're weighing it out. I feel like there's 3 days of darkness in Philadelphia, and I feel like there's 3 events in a row. I feel like it's possible that there's 3, one each day, to make the equivalence to 3 days of darkness before the actual sun does go down for 3 days, because they're going to definitely darken the sky where we're not going to see any sun for 3 days. Like, it's because if you continually see bombs and smoke happening each day, it's 3 days of darkness in the same area, like Center City just being torn apart. But see, here's how I'm going to get everybody to believe me. No matter what the events are, it's like I'm trying to pinpoint dead on accuracy with the timeline and the events of where they're going to take place at, because it's obvious that the second 9/11 is going to happen, right? Isn't that obvious? They're all talking about it, but who knows when? They've been talking about this for 18 years. All right? How could you tell? Well, it's a gift. It's a gift I got from going to that school. I learned how to read through bullshit artists. So that's a gift that you're given, being able to discern what they're actually talking about when they're talking about it. So second 9/11 is an obvious thing that's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. What's the target? Second 9/11. You know that the one plane crashed in Pennsylvania, right? So where was that plane heading? Well, it wasn't heading anywhere because the plane didn't exist. The people that were making the phone calls are crisis actors. Every one of them, the Taliban and all. They made their stories up. They said that they were going to go cut them up with the box cutters, or take the box cutters out of the terrorists' hands, and take the plane down, and they're going to be heroes. So what happened is they went down to Pennsylvania. They dug a big hole with an excavating backhoe, and they dumped some kind of metal in there, and they said that was the airplane that dropped in Pennsylvania, the first 9/11. The Pentagon, man, whatever. You know what I mean? They said it was a missile, but it was just a bomb with some little thing showing that they said it was an airplane. It's so ridiculous. And then the same thing at first 9/11. They said airplanes hit the building, which they didn't. It was strategically set up bombs. You know why it wasn't an airplane that flew? Because Jonathan Varga Klecks drew the money on the back of the dollar bills, had the patent image. At the age of 33, he was given that approval to put that money there. And when you fold up the money at the same time, which was his idea, when you fold it up, you'll see that smoke comes from the one tower. It's higher than the other, and the other comes from the other tower, which is still a $20 bill, which has the White House on it. It has both of them there. So when you fold it up, you have to, and then when you set the bombs, you have to strategically put these bombs in place to make it look like airplane wings flew into it and exploded. That's how you do it. And then you laser beam Johnny. You show the holographic images that you have. You show your ability to put missiles in the sky, even the white ones. You can put them during the day. You can put them at night, fiery red. They're coming. He's already got them lit up over in Israel. Philadelphia's next. It's Israel. It's Philadelphia. It's Jerusalem. It's New Jerusalem. It's literal Philadelphia. It's spiritual Philadelphia. It's both. It's the Church of Philadelphia. It's the Lamb's house. Klecks went to the Lamb's house and he laid hands on them. Both of them. All 2 of them. He laid hands on them. And when Klecks lays his hands on somebody, you better watch out. It's the hand of the Lord. So he's laying hands on the Lamb. The Lamb's house is going to be destroyed because he's going to prosper and succeed. Because he's going he's going to defeat the lambs for a time period, short period of time. But the lamb always wins in the end anyway. So when you had the two 9/11s happening, an airplane hitting that area and then the other area, and an airplane hitting the Pentagon and the other airplane falling in Pennsylvania before it got to Philadelphia, yeah, they said it was going to hit the White House. Well, one of them will. But nobody said anything about that actual plane from Pennsylvania heading to Philadelphia. I'm telling you, it's heading to Philadelphia. And it's possible that it could happen today, the 14th. You know why? Because when that building, number 75, got destroyed by Jonathan Klecks' tornado in Dallas, Texas, that same night that I knew that the Eagles were going to be destroyed by the Cowboys, I did the video to prove it. I don't need to go back to it. These are obvious scripts. When that happened, don't you know that 200 yards away, not even 200 yards away, the Lighthouse Church, the Lighthouse, the Lambs, the house full of light, that house, it was that got destroyed too, and it was 1400 Lighthouse Lambsbrook Way, I guess. I mean, it was definitely 1400 block. I mean, 1400 block. And just to put it's like the icing on top and the icing on the cake and the cherry on top. Don't you know that Cherry Street, right there at Broadway, right where that bird's wings is in the middle of the street, it has a V for victory. It's right there in the alleyway. You know where Jonathan Klecks got saved at? In the Church of Philadelphia, right there at Philadelphia. Cherry and Broadway Lane Street Road. Broad and wide is the path to destruction right here in Philadelphia. Don't you know that Cherry Street, right there where that thing in the middle of the street is that air, is that a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's holographic images. It's right there at 1400 Cherry Street Lane, Cherry Avenue, Cherry Alley. It's right there, and Broad Street's right there. And just know this, that not even 200 yards away is that weird looking narrow path building. It's like you got to walk through there. It's like a narrow stretch of this tall little building that there's a familiar building that Jonathan Klecks is building. It's in his backyard, I think. And it's tall, it's skinny, it looks exactly, if you want to do a replica of if you're trying to show somebody what this building might look like, it looks exactly like the William Penn building. On top, because it's narrow. It's a narrow path of a building, right? On a broad ass street. So, because a narrow building is on top of a broad street, you have wide is the path and broad is the destruction, the road to destruction, and narrow is the path, to the lamb's house. So Klecks going to lay his hands on the lamb. He's looking to do that really, really freaking soon. I mean, today his video is all about bells. His caption is a bell, which brings me back to the fact that even if I never showed up on YouTube, me, Robin Henry Tees, if I never showed up on YouTube, these videos, Klecks would still be doing anyway. He had a specific timeline to ring the bell in Philadelphia and drop the bombs. 3 in a row, all right? They're going to be dropping bomb after bomb after bombshell. There's 3 bombs in a row. Well, you know what? The first 9/11 was 3 hits because the 4th one was a dud. But I think this time it's 4 hits. Either way, the 14th is today. It is 75 days from the time that shooting at the Home Depot happened in Odessa, Texas, Midland, Texas. And now these two witnesses are getting up on the stage testifying against Trump. Wait till you see what happens to them two. Their dead bodies going to be lying in the streets of that great city over there. Because when that bomb hits that area over there, you know, that's according to the script. And then Klecks, he had two witnesses up today. Or whatever they're trying, I don't even know what it said, but anyway, he's just showing you there's two witnesses there. And then what other dates would there be for the second 9/11? It's like it'll be on a day, like today is a day that I would not have expected. But I only started thinking about it because the number 75 kept being thrown in my face again. I'm like, oh, well, let me check this number out. Let me do the calculations here. 14th, 11, 14, 19. I mean, you know. Because you have, well, the next possible day would be, man, people are not, they're so selfish. They won't stop and let this person drive through. Every one of them. You see that? People are such in a hurry and impatient, just so selfish and greedy. They're greedy for the red light. Don't you know if you stop, you know what I mean? Like, that holds up like 10 seconds of your life, and I don't like to block traffic. If I can help the other side of traffic flow through, I'll stop so it can flow through. And that guy, he's always selling newspapers in the corner, and he's always yelling and putting his peace fingers up to people, and that's cool. It's kind of cold out. So, yeah, whatever. 11, 19, 19. Party like it's 1919. Okay, that's another date. But see, today is Thursday. The only reason why I could put this together is Batcat disappeared on Thursday, which means Batcat, which is representing the truth. I don't know how it is. It just is. It's representing the truth on YouTube, where Batcat disappeared on Thursday and then showed back up like, I don't know, was it Sunday or something? And then Monday, Batcat died. Because Batcat was on, so let's see, if Philadelphia gets hit today, then it's going to get hit again. It's like it's going to get hit again and again and again and again. It'll be like 4 events in a row, 4, 3, 2, 1. Darkness. And then Monday, it's like Batcat will be cut off of YouTube for good, right? Or you would think that Batcat would get cut off for good. Remember, there's a 3.5 day period where they feel like they got to get victory. And then the real 6th seal, as soon as it opens up, the truth hops back on. And then those people that seen that happen, 7,000, they get slain immediately because they work for Klecks. And then the